Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode dose of the Alternative Daily Podcast. I'm Jake Carney here with
Megan Harris.
Hey, Megan.
We're here again, ready to do this.
Yeah.
We had such great reception from everybody for our first podcast. So, of course, we want to thank everybody who took the time to download and listen to it. If you have not yet heard that one, it's awesome, of course. But you can find it. It's available on iTunes. It's also on SoundCloud.com and at thealternativedaily.com. And we'll always make sure that all of the podcasts get posted to all three of those places. And you can listen to them from your phone. I listen to mine in my car. So you can just take Jake and I in your pocket wherever you go.
Who wouldn't want that?
Doesn't that sound like a dream?
I would love to be in somebody's pocket all the time.
So today we kind of wanted to have a bit more of a category or a theme that we were going to tackle with all of these podcasts.
By the way, the reviews were awesome, though,
Yes.
for everybody.
That's
I didn't
right.
hear any negative reviews. Nobody said, stop it, you suck, never do this again. So it was a little bit of give us a little bit of oomph to come back here and do it again. So.
Exactly. That's why we're back now, a little bit more professional even.
And we got some critiques, though. And
We
said,
did, and that
like
was
this,
the
you know,
topics.
The topics.
So we're going to do our best to sort of have a theme, as I was saying, sort of have one underlying theme for every podcast, and then Jake and I will put in our personal ideas and stories and opinions, and also always try and relate it back to health. So today,
well, there was another review that said I should always tell a story about being in my underwear.
Yes,
so we
that
can
was
always
great.
end it with that. And
An underwear story?
I want to give the audience what they want. And so
We gotta give the people
it's
what
an
they
underwear
want.
story of me. So
oh man, a girl can dream, huh? How did I get so lucky? So today, the topic that we wanted to cover is sort of the best way we can describe it is sort of in life, the things that maybe you feel or people say that you should be doing versus the things that you want to do or you feel is best for you. And we're going to relate that sort of to things that maybe society is telling us to do. We're going to relate that to alternative health and maybe what are the things that we know we need to do to stay healthy versus the things that maybe every now and then we can let slide. And then Jake's going to share some personal stories, maybe an underwear story, but some personal food stories too.
and the topic, as we have here in our notes, is called societal pressures.
Yes.
In case anybody's following along and wants to take notes.
Yes, you want to take notes? I already highlighted all of my notes and then had to give them to Jake.
So Megan actually had this idea to talk about the societal pressures thing because of given her old age
Yes,
and given
very
her,
old.
not being married and
Oh, yeah.
what
I'm a
the world and
spinster.
society actually is expecting of Megan, and she is not bringing that to the table yet.
and I just
apparently.
can't take it anymore,
Yet
people.
She can't live up to society's needs. So can we jump a little bit more into that? What
Absolutely. Now that we've already said it, I feel as though we need to. I need to sort of explain.
I think Megan's mom's going to be listening to this, with
as long as my grandmother doesn't listen to this, we'll
sitting
be
there
okay.
crying. Why isn't she married yet? So what societal pressures do you feel that are upon you right now?
So I feel
Lay
as
down
though
on the couch and I can sit here.
right.
And
How
tell
much
you.
are you going to take my insurance too?
Yeah, I'll take insurance. Yeah.
So I'm in my late 20s and I'm at that phase where I noticed that all of my friends are getting married. A lot of my friends are.
By the way,
having-
can I still ask women how old they are? I did this at a conference a couple weeks ago.
Oh, no.
Really good conversation I was having with her, and I was like, "Can I ask you?" I probably had 2
unless
beers.
you're saying you look so
That's how I was
amazing.
going with it. I was like, I know that we're probably not allowed to do this. Can I ask you how old you are? And she told me, and I forgot. But it was like, wow, you look great. So, how
she
old
was
are
22.
You? How old are you?
I'm 28 years
Okay.
old.
All right.
And I'm proud of that. I don't think that, I think age, of course, as cliche as it is really how you feel. And I certainly don't feel old. And I don't think anybody listening would say that being 28 years old is old. I mean, Jake, on the other hand, I think your age, that's when we start to worry, right?
That's right. Yes.
You're like 5 years older than me.
at about to be 333. So
Oh, boy.
it's gonna happen. But anyway, societal pressures.
Yeah, so societal pressures. I mean, these days being in my late 20s, I'm noticing my friends are getting married. A lot of my friends, 2 of my best friends already have children. Another one has a baby on the way. So it's kind of crazy to sort of be in this position where I have a boyfriend. So don't worry, I'm not totally single. We've been together almost for 5 years. And, I'm at that phase where everybody's asking, even when we went on the all daily retreat, all of your friends who are about your age, early 30s and such, everybody's saying to me and my
There's
boyfriend.
some old people there too.
Yeah, there were a couple. Yeah, about 40. Everybody was, saying to me, and then I found out later, pulling even my boyfriend Colin aside and saying, "So, do you think you guys are going to get married? Do you think?"
I love dropping that question. You guys can have kids yet?
Right?
You can have kids before you get married. It's
Oh
completely
yeah,
fine.
my
Go for
grandmother
it.
I think is at the point where she's okay if we end up doing that. But I think it's funny because we certainly don't feel pressured, and I think it's obviously something that everybody decides for themselves. Some people get married and at 18 years old and have wonderful things, and some people wait until they're 40. I don't think that really there's a certain set age, but I think that these days, especially because there's so much in social media, I am going to take this back to social media. I think that with so many people right now, like my Facebook is blowing up. Everybody's having babies. Everybody's having these big extravagant wedding weekends. I'm about to go to a big extravagant wedding weekend tomorrow. It's like a 3-day thing. And so I think that, in my opinion, I feel as though some people are maybe sort of jumping on that bandwagon or doing things a little bit earlier than they should because they see everybody else doing it. Like I go onto Facebook and I see, well, this girl and her boyfriend just got married and, well, they were only dating for 2 years. Is it weird that I've been with my boyfriend for twice that long? And
so you do throw yourself in a little bit of like self-doubt about it?
So I wonder sometimes, like, does it look a little bit odd, or am I going to be getting too old? I think that you can't help sort of feeling those societal pressures. I certainly feel them at times, not enough to let me make a jump that may be something I'm not ready for. But I do think that maybe in society in general, when we go on Facebook, I mean, we can take this back to anything. You could be sitting in your office right now and you hate your job and you sign on to Instagram on your phone, killing a few minutes, and you see your friend or your buddy that you went to college with, and he's posting photos from a vacation that he's on. And so we think, oh, I want to be that person. They're so much luckier than me.
You can see that, especially a lot on Facebook. You're like, oh my God, they have the perfect life.
Exactly.
And there was actually a story, I think it was like last week, of some like this famous runner or marathoner.
The girl that killed herself, yeah.
And on Facebook, she looked like the perfect person and everything, and then on the other
really
side
sad.
of that. But you'll see that, and I see that a lot with, you call it your friends or you call it whatever's in your connection, in your circle, on your social medias, of people like literally a lot of it is just self-bragging. I have my big issue is the only thing I post on Facebook is pictures of my daughter and pictures of my wife and my daughter,
who are both very, very beautiful. So that's why he's bragging.
Never. I've done one.
He's like, yeah, I got a hot wife and a cute daughter.
I've done one selfie in my entire life, and that selfie was with one of the guitarists of my favorite band that I saw in an airport. I even asked him, I was like, I don't know how to do a selfie. How should I do this? And so,
and that's how old he is, ladies and gentlemen.
I just don't. I don't do that type of thing. So I always take it for face value. So, and I don't want to say that I'm cynical, but it's just kind of like. It's just kind of like it's I take it for face value. It's like this person just really wants to tell me
how great their life is.
How great their life is and where they're at, and they're checking in. I don't care, right? I'm all about seeing pictures of my kids' friends, my kids' friends, my friends' kids, maybe my kids' friends if they're on there yet. Probably not at 2, but
I don't know. I've seen kids at doctors' offices that know how to use their parents' iPads and mobile phones when they're little.
Noah can definitely swipe it back and
Noah
forth.
has texted me from your phone before, just a bunch of letters and numbers.
She did. But in terms of like the side, like I don't feel, and maybe I'm just different. I look at that. It's just kind of, I've always kind of gone against the grain, especially what society has said and everything. And I've never ever looked and said, oh, that person has that, or that person's doing that, I'd like to do that. Now, don't get me wrong. If you see somebody like on a beautiful beach and they have like a Corona, it's like the picturesque picture. Sure, you're like, oh, it'd be nice to be there. But then that's it, right? And I don't feel like I actually have to pick up and go, to the beach or fly to the beach to have a Corona and post it when I'm there. And it's funny, my parents who actually listen to this, all of our podcasts.
Parents. Yeah. Thank you to our parents.
My dad, I love him, but he'll take the pictures where he's at the beach with his feet. And I'm like, so I think they went to the Bahamas for something. And I texted them before I was like, enjoy your time. Don't worry about posting to Facebook, and nobody wants to see your feet anymore. But that's more of a lighthearted one. But I think you can definitely feel the pressure, but it's just you obviously can't give into it. And I have always just gone against the grain, and so like I just want to almost do like the opposite of what those people are doing. But the other thing is, it's also be careful not to also. This is another term, hate read things, right? Because you don't want to hate read their stuff like, oh, what is so and so saying?
What a jerk!
Oh, I can't stand her. She says this all the time, but let me see what she's saying. My one good friend, Tim, actually told me this last week. I was asking him something about Facebook or social and stuff like that, and he was like, I actually use the birthday section on Facebook to defriend people. I'm like, that's terrible. You
I have done that
birthdays.
too.
So he's like, no. He's like, if
I don't want to wish him a happy birthday,
yes,
yeah, I've done that.
I haven't done that. I guess I just don't look too much into it. I might check Facebook like maybe once a day, maybe once every 2 days. But he uses it to defriend people when it's their birthday.
No, it's great. I mean, it's a terrible thing to say, but it is kind of true. You see somebody and you're like, well, if I wouldn't wish them a happy birthday even on Facebook, maybe they're not my friend.
But so the same thing actually goes with, and we've been really careful about this, especially at the Alternative Daily, but even me personally, family of just kind of putting out there. Now, Megan, you do a great job on Instagram of showing different pictures of things out there.
Everybody follow us, please, at The Alternative Daily on Instagram.
But a lot of people will say, hey, check out my abs. Check out what I'm eating. Look what I'm eating. Look what
Well,
you're
that's
not.
basically The Alternative Daily Instagram.
Well, Megan, obviously, she posts some very, very wonderful pictures. I always, I kick myself in the head for thinking, like, why am I not cooking that right now? What was the one you just posted that just, I don't want to say went viral, but it got more likes?
Breakfast sandwich. I posted a really good breakfast sandwich.
It was like cottage cheese.
It was delicious. First of all, it was a sprouted grain English muffin that I toasted, and half of it had avocado and cottage cheese, and the other half had the other part of the avocado and a scrambled egg. It was delicious.
I bet you it
and
did taste good.
Oh,
it probably,
so
from the picture, it did not look good.
You know what's so funny is that photo, I thought, oh, wow, it's really not even that great of a photo. And then I got all the alerts, and I actually thought, oh, Instagram must have messed up here. Something's wrong. There's no way that photo got so many likes. But thank you for her. Whoever out there did like it 100 million times, because I really appreciate that.
But it's also very hard, especially for people to kind of look and especially in the kind of this whole social media game of just being caught in, like, am I doing the right thing?
Mm-hmm.
Am I not doing the right thing? That type of thing. And one thing we actually wanted to kind of continue to talk about too was, just trying to do like one, simple thing each day. But you just can't break down to the pressure. You can't, whether it's having kids. Well, how many kids do you want to have?
That's what I was going to ask.
How many kids do you want to have?
I don't even know, but I was going to ask you. That's where I was waiting to get into. I could segue to you.
Go for it.
So you have a daughter. She's what, almost 3 years old? Noah's going to be 3 this year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've been around you and other people, and you've been telling me, I mean, aren't people sort of pressuring, you guys are saying, when are you going to have another kid? Are you going to have another kid? Are you going to give Noah a sibling? Blah, 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 blah.
100% yes.
Right?
Yes.
And people are asking, or
no,
you want to do
they're
it?
asking. No. We're on the fence. We literally, it's so funny. We literally take it day by day, just in terms of life. And we've talked about it. Just, it's not actively, we're not actively pursuing it. But it's
more on that later.
You do feel the pressures about, we would like another grandkid. We would like this. We like that. But we're kind of cool where we're at right now.
That's because Noah is like the coolest kid ever.
I've never once looked at Facebook and been like, oh my God, that person has 5 kids. I want one more. That has never crossed my mind.
No, if anything, you see that and you're like, oh, thank God I don't have 5 kids.
The funny thing is, like, I was actually reading an article, it was a couple weeks ago, and they said, when to tell if you want another kid right now. And I was like, oh, perfect. Let me see what this person says. And it said, in the middle of a tantrum, in the middle of the night when they're screaming, you can't calm them down. This is typical between 2s and 3s. If you can't calm them down, if they're acting terrible, if you think yourself going to have another one. And this is the person saying this. He said, and that's when the moment I knew that I wanted another one, because as bad as they were in that moment, I was like, I could do this for another one. And I was reading this, I was like, this person is insane.
Oh my
I was
gosh.
like, in the middle of a breakdown, the last thing that goes through my mind is, God, I just really want another one.
I'd love 2 of them right now.
Give me 2 or 3 more of these. They're just screaming right now. So it's, you just kind of gauge it with your point of life. Megan, you're still young.
I know I am, right? I still have my youth.
But you should still have as many kids right now as possible.
You know what's funny, really quick, before we move on from that? I'm very close in age with my sister. We're less than 2 years apart. And a lot of my friends who have siblings are fairly close in age with their siblings, maybe, 2 years or so. And it's funny now that 2 of my best friends have kids. One of them, her son is turning 1 actually tomorrow. And then my other girlfriend, her son just turned 2. And it's so funny because I was asking them, oh, are you going to, have another kid? Are you going to have another kid? And they're both saying, oh my God, our hands are so full. How did our parents do it so quickly, one after the other,
You'll hear the explanation that you just want to get them done real quick. Now, I have another good friend, Dishner, who actually is he'll listen to this, and they got theirs done really quickly, 1 and 2, and I obviously just keep asking, like, when's the third one coming? When's the third one coming?
So you're that societal pressure on someone else,
just for more, just being funny. And so he said 2. We just wanted to get them done as soon as possible, and I told him he's crazy, but they seem to do it well. And it came down, and it was funny. It was like seeing your college roommate, who you've literally whether you've seen him naked or not, which I probably have. I won't get into too much detail of this, but you see them as a father now, and it's kind of cool.
It is cool,
and it's funny. And this won't be like this is not gonna be a parenting podcast. We promise for the rest
Please,
of the time.
because I certainly don't know anything.
but it was kind of so cool because we we both had sent each other texts within the span of a couple, weeks. I was like saying like how proud we were of each other,
that's nice.
which is so unlike us, right? Because there was, somebody, we both had like goatees and you'd wake up with like popcorn all over your mouth and stuff like that from a long night. And now we're saying, oh, we're proud of you. Look at you. But it was like kind of cool to see them, and how they're coping with 2 children. But it was cool. It was good. But, the one thing, going back to taking it out of the parenting thing again was, and I deal with this a lot when I go to, let's say, cookouts and barbecues or whatever. If there's food there, people come up to me and because they know kind of like what I do, and they're like, "Oh my God, are you okay if there's barbecue here?" And I'm like, it's okay. Like
That's because you make people nervous.
I've never made anybody nervous until I started doing this stuff. But I've never been one to judge about what other people eat. Now, my family might be rolling their eyes because I'm maybe a little bit harder on them, but it's if you're going somewhere, it's all about kind of, even though I don't necessarily bend to societal pressure, if you're in a group of people and you guys are all hanging out, the whole point is to have a good time. So I'm not going to be like, oh my God, why are you eating that hot dog? Do you know what that's doing to you? And I've been around people who are like, oh my God, are you putting that in your mouth? That's not organic, And I'm like, so what? It's just
you
like,
got to live.
And so there's definitely there's a kind of like the overarching societal pressure, which I think is a bunch of BS. But then there's that in brief little pockets of whether they're cookouts or barbecues or birthday parties for people. It's you got, even if you want to live truly like the a clean lifestyle and not eat, that's fine. And if people ask why aren't you eating, and I've had that same thing. Like my dad was like, I think it was a couple weeks ago, he cooked something, and I was like, I just brought my own. And it's that first weird standoff where it's like, what? And I'm like, listen, your stuff tastes good. Maybe I'll dip it into your dips and stuff like that. I was like, but this is just what I'm doing right now. And then you make a funny comment and just kind of go away because people can definitely they take it personally when you talk about this health stuff. And if they'll say, why aren't you eating the steak? Or why are you eating fish? Or you're eating this and you're eating that, and they internalize it. And that's probably the biggest thing that I've experienced since opening this up is the people. It's a very personal thing, this whole eating thing for people, because they've done it for so many years. And if you're telling them the wrong, which I've never told them the wrong, except on a few things. But if you tell them that like they're wrong, they just take it really personally. So you just got to be careful with that, because the last thing I want is to piss people off, like at a get together and stuff like that. So.
No, I think that sometimes it can be very daunting, and this is a great segue to go into sort of our next kind of topic about what we should be doing versus what we kind of want to do or make allowances for. It can be really hard to navigate the alternative health world, and it can be kind of daunting too, even with getting my family and some of my friends. I have a very healthy social circle and family around me, but certain people maybe with certain things that they do or use, it can sort of be hard to navigate. Even when I started on this journey of being healthier and eating better and whatnot, how do you know what you should be doing versus what you can sort of let slide every now and then? Like I try and eat almost all organic. But, I don't not allow myself to enjoy something. We were talking on the last podcast about how I was in New York City visiting my sister. And, we were joking about street meat, my favorite. And, every now and then, like if I want to go have something, I just celebrated a birthday last night with one of my girlfriends, had a couple too many cocktails, safely, of course. But, you always have to, I think, have things in moderation. Because to me personally, like my life philosophy is I have to allow myself every now and then to indulge or have a cheat meal or however you want to see it, because that's what makes all of the hard work worth it. That's what makes, in my opinion, the point of it. I'm working out, I'm eating right, I'm doing all of these things. So that way, if I want to have a cheeseburger or if I want to go to that barbecue and have a couple beers, then it's okay because I know that tomorrow is a new day and I'll just reset myself.
So the perfect example I have of this is Ralph. We know Ralph.
I love Ralph.
Ralph is great. Ralph.
Hi, Ralph, if you're listening.
Hey, Ralph. Ralph lived in Manhattan for the longest time. And so he literally, anybody that lives there.
You're amazing. We don't know how you do it.
But so Ralph would go out to eat all the time, right? Because it's what you do. You go out to eat. You live in the city. You go out to eat. And then you kind of, move back to...
he lives in Queens now.
Queens, I guess.
That's still pretty big city-ish.
He really wanted to curb his diet and curb a bunch of things. And so Ralph comes from his typical like Italian, New York Italian family where everything's pasta, breads, and pizza, right?
Sounds amazing.
And it's great. so he really wanted to clean things up. So we actually, Susan, who's on our team, she's our main content writer, we all started talking, and she actually came up with like a plan for him. And so Ralph was doing it for like 2 or 3 weeks. And so, and I won't get into everything that he was doing, but he would do some green smoothies and, actually a bunch of green smoothies throughout the day. Started drinking apple cider vinegar.
Yeah, he likes his lemon water.
Yeah,
lemon.
Ralph loves his lemon water. Wasn't giving up his coffee, which we'll get into in a second, but that was fine. He, and it's funny, after about 2 or 3 weeks, he kind of was like, I don't feel anything different. And I was like, what are you talking about? He was like, when am I going to feel, feel really good? And I was like, just wait. And so he continued over it. And then here's where you really realize it. He fell off the wagon where, for like a week or two.
Mm-hmm.
And this what happens to all of us, right?
Yeah, of course.
So he fell off the wagon and he's like, oh my God, I feel like crap, blah, blah. And I was like, how did you feel like 2 weeks ago? And he was like, really good. And I was like, you don't realize how good you feel until you fall off the wagon. So my advice to people is like, start doing it healthily. And then if you fall off the wagon for a couple days a week, remember how you felt. And and so the easiest thing, and this kind of goes into what's the easiest thing to kind of start living this healthy life. Now, again, we're gonna kind of bypass, just stop eating McDonald's and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We're gonna kind of get past that.
We assume you guys already understand not to
but some
do
people
those
don't,
things.
and it's fine. But I can tell you, the last time I had a double cheeseburger, I felt absolutely terrible, and that was like 6 years ago.
Yeah, I haven't had McDonald's in years.
Although you did buy a Shamrock Shake.
But you made me buy a Shamrock Shake. It was for a video on the Alternative Daily, which you guys can go check out. It's all about the dangers of the McDonald's Shamrock Shake. And Jake made me go buy one. And I had to go to the drive-thru before I came here. And I got to his house and I was so mad with him because I was like, that was so embarrassing that I had to go through a drive-thru and buy a Shamrock Shake at like 9:30 in the morning.
So the quick and easy. So stop buying Shamrock Shakes. But some of the quick and easy things to do are, and it's something I just tell everybody, which is like, go to bed earlier. Wake up earlier. That's the easiest thing to do. I'm not even telling you to stop eating what you're eating. Just go to bed earlier and wake up earlier and see how you feel, right? And I also, I forget where I heard this, but it's also replace your last drink at night with a tea. So let's say you are a beer drinker. Let's say you like to have a beer or two at night. Instead of having two, you have your first beer, and instead of having your second beer, have a glass of tea instead.
Wah, wah, wah.
Don't get me wrong, I enjoy my beers. But it's just kind of just doing one minuscule thing. The next thing would just be, what Ralph is doing, warm lemon water in the morning.
Yeah, that is great, by the way. It really is amazing if you do it.
Did you do it the first time? It helps get everything moving, too, what's inside of you. If you know, in the Alternative Daily, we talk about poop a lot, and so that'll help make you more regular if you're interested in that. But it's just very simple. And lemons are maybe like, 39 cents or whatever. You can cut it up into 7 slices. And
you don't need a lot of lemon at all.
Yeah. So it's things like that. You can also get some green smoothie shakes, like powdered greens, right? I actually personally use Garden of Life has a really good one. You can get it on Amazon. It's called Perfect Raw Meal or whatever. But these are just like the small things that you can do, so you're not exactly like here's the thing not to do is throw everything out of your cabinet and then go to the grocery store and be like, okay, I got some broccoli, I got some asparagus, and I got some, chicken thighs. What do I do? That's probably the worst thing to do because you're gonna throw your body into shock. Like not your body, but your kind of like whole mental capacity into shock. And be like, this sucks. You just got to gradually do it, and then fall off the wagon because then you will feel better once you get back on.
I think the same thing can be said also even for starting an exercise plan. So for me, one of the things that I would always recommend to somebody if they wanted to just start being healthier is I was talking to my mom and stepdad about this. They started this last year. They both had a couple different things. My mom had some surgery. She now has new hips, thankfully. And so, she has gotten into walking. And even just 15 to 20 minutes of walking, and you can split that up over the day. You could walk 4 times a day at 5-minute increments. And if you just get a little bit moving, you will start to feel better. You'll start to notice you might even wear your clothes a little bit better. Right. Things might start feeling better overall. And so it's really easy, going back to what you just said, it's really easy to just start slowly and then build on from there. Because, you always see it. So I belong to a gym. I've always worked out at a gym. And it's always so funny. My boyfriend and I joke about this. Right around the holiday time, like November, December, and then January is the worst. Yeah. The gym is the worst place to be. It is so packed. It is so crowded. You can't get on the machines, and you're just like, who are all these people, and what are they doing here? And now it's funny because even going to the gym yesterday, it's right before summer. You'd think, everybody would be in the gym, but people really start to taper off because most people who don't hang on to those resolutions, now we're in May, June, they start to lose that. So it's not really feasible to say, I'm going to join a gym and I'm going to work out 6 days a week for an hour and a half and I'm going to do this. It does not work. It leads to burnout and then you feel bad about yourself.
So let me ask you this. So I kind of know a lot about kind of like what to eat and stuff from an alternative health standpoint. And so falling off the wagon and getting back on is easy, right? So let me eat pizza, you know, the last
Sounds
podcast,
fun to fall off the wagon.
Yeah,
actually.
well, let's eat pizza at the beach, whatever. Or you know what? Fine, we're traveling a lot. We're just eating like crap. We're gonna get back on. It's easy to get back on. What about when it comes for for exercise? So it's so easy to fall off the wagon for it, but it's so harder to get back on.
It really is.
So what do you do? Like, because there's times when I wake up and I'm like, I just don't want to do it because I have to do this, and this. Let me put it out and I'm done. What do you do? Because you're pretty regimented. You're pretty strict on what you do. Do you get like, I don't really want to do this?
Of course. It's funny because I am happy working out because of how I look after, but I'm never going to be one of those people that's like throwing on my sneakers. Oh, I cannot wait to go to the gym. I just don't have it in me. My sister loves to work out. My boyfriend, one of my best friends, she loves to go to the gym. And so for me, I love the way I look after. I love the way I feel after. I love sort of going back to what we were talking about with eating healthy. I love knowing that if I want to allow myself to indulge in that extra glass of wine or have a piece of pizza, I can do that without feeling guilty. But for me, when I was starting an exercise plan, it's very daunting and it can be kind of scary to sort of find what you want to do and what you like. And there's so many different kinds of exercising out there. For example, I know that I really like boot camp style classes if I take those at the gym, but I don't really enjoy boxing classes.
Right.
And I like Pilates classes on the machines, but I don't like the Pilates on the floor or the ballet bar classes. And that's just sort of, you take a bunch of different things and you find what you like.
Have you done any of the work from home stuff? I mean, with the workout from home.
I have done workouts from home before, and sometimes if I don't go to the gym, I'll try and do some things, even honestly, as in front of the television, because if it gets me moving, then that's a good thing. Like today, I actually posted on our Instagram an ab workout that my girlfriend shared with me. And since I'm not working out today at the gym, I'm taking a rest day. I'm going to do that at home.
Wait, so it's today, for you today is truly not a rest day. You're actually going to still do
I'm going to try and do a little something
a rest
later.
day from the
Active
gym.
rest.
Gotcha,
active rest. You always try and have active rest.
Now, what about when you have 3 kids and then all the societal pressures come on? You have 3 kids and
well, slow down. I thought I wasn't married yet.
You're trying to cook. Like, how can you make that practical for a person who has 3 kids?
I think that it's about being able to build in that time to where if you've got kids and you're not able to really go to the gym for an hour and a half every day and you're not able to do that, think about what you can do with the kids. Are they old enough to where you can play with them outside? I mean, think about, there's so many things that you can be doing that burn calories. I mean, I live in a building, where I'm on the 6th floor of a 9-story building. People that live in buildings like that, I have seen moms and women running the stairs.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many things you can do, even if you do a couple bursts of cardio a day. I read something where if you could do 2 minutes of cardio, just think about that, just 2 minutes of time of working out. If you can do something that raises your heart rate and you can do that, let's say 4 or 5 times in a day.
Yep.
That already spikes your metabolism for the rest of the day.
Oh, yeah.
So it's sort of trying to find ways that it builds into your lifestyle and what you do. You're really into doing those exercise videos at home, and I have a friend that's doing the same program as you, and she loves it.
No, it's awesome. And I have, like I said, I've fallen off the wagon. We've had a lot of stuff come up with some different things, but I'm going to get back on it. Famous last words, right? But no, it's really good. I was doing Beachbody's Sean T's Focus T25. And I was so cynical. I was like, look at these people just in front of a TV, throwing punches and kicking.
Are we going to see you in the before and after photos on those infomercials? Where he's got like the 8-pack?
I don't do selfies. But it was good because the cool thing is it's 25 minutes, right? So that was the big thing. Like when I would go for a run, I'd go for like a 4-mile run. It was like 30, 40 minutes and stuff like that.
Wow, you're really running fast.
Yeah, I'm pretty good. But you just
because he's like 7 feet tall, so his legs are huge.
But I found that just kind of like the 25-minute workouts, I was actually getting more results from doing those.
Absolutely.
Doing the kind of like high intensity workouts as opposed to just running. Running was keeping some weight off but not toning up. So I started doing those, the 25-minute DVDs, and they're awesome and they're great.
And that's why he's sitting here right now in just his underwear,
and just
rubbing baby oil all over his muscles.
Like a pig right now, but yeah, that's it. But yeah, the Shanti, those ones are really good. Now I don't do. He's coming out with a new one. It's called Size. Like after like.
Are you gonna get
exercise-
really, really big?
No, this one is like the hip hop dancing. And so my college
I
roommate
would
texted me. He was like,
I would
we
pay
gotta
you
this together.
to
I'm like,
do this.
Absolutely not.
Please.
Absolutely not. With a flat brimmed hat and wristbands or whatever they're called. No, I will not do that. I'm not a dancer. I'm just not a dancer.
I have no rhythm either.
Gina is. My
Really?
wife. My wife can cut a rug, and so when we go to weddings, I'm just kind of like that really, kind of like salty dude in the corner. I like seeing people have a good time, but I will not go do the shout with everybody.
So when I was learning at the gym, trying to figure out what I wanted to work out, and this was, going back 5-6 years ago, I tried a Zumba class at the gym, and I made the mistake of taking a Zumba class at the gym. I live in Miami Beach. So my class was all these sexy Latinas who have this incredible, it was awful. Who have this incredible, just innate rhythm to them. And here I am in the back row. It was so bad, Jake. I, no joke, danced my way to the exit. I grapevined the hell out of that class and never went back again. So I understand that.
Oh yeah, no rhythm in these shoes. So one thing that actually has come up, and this is perfect. We're talking about navigating alternative health. I've been a little sick. So for the past week, been a little sick, and everybody always asks me like, "What do you do when you're sick?" Whatever. My big thing, and we've talked a lot about this, was you also have to let your body heal, right? So you can't necessarily zap it with all these. We don't talk a lot about over-the-counter drugs and stuff like that, but you don't want to kind of like zap it by just doing everything you can. But I do some extra things while I get sick, and so some of those are, and this is kind of just goes along with the navigating the health thing, has been. I definitely, and this is a good reset. It's like, because, falling off the wagon, I love, like, being sick is a huge mental thing too. And so one thing you'll notice when you're sick is your brain starts running and looping and you just can't kind of slow down. So the first thing I always do is definitely, I just kind of stop, and I'm obviously a big advocate of meditation, but I definitely do it, more intensely and probably more when I'm sick, just to really kind of slow down your brain. Because if you've ever noticed when you're sick and you're kind of like laying in bed and resting is good, like your brain's just and that's not good. You need to slow it down. So that's definitely, meditating in the middle of the day, like once or twice, just trying to slow it down has definitely helped me.
And is that where you're just deep breathing, sort of trying to get in a quiet room?
It's actually called the Keeley meditation, Kelee meditation practice. You can go to thekeeley.org.
Cool.
And it's not so much breathing as it is just more of just kind of it's a whole method of slowing down your brain, and we're going to cover that on a podcast coming up soon. So I'm
going to need to listen to that podcast too, because I don't even think I know how to do that.
So I do that throughout the day, and then in terms of eating, because obviously you want to eat right, is no greasy foods, right? You want to get away from that, and I try to eat like a really kind of clean protein. So I have like organic grass-fed yogurt, really high-fat yogurt. But grass-fed yogurt. I'll do a smoothie in the morning, and they've also been taking some black cumin seed oil. It's got some good antiviral properties.
Do you add that to a smoothie?
Yeah,
Okay.
It's pretty potent, but it's really good. It's that's a product by Activation Products, one of our friends, and it's And this whole podcast is not a huge promotional, by the way. I'm just telling you what I use. And then, of course, just kind of like your greens. I usually use the Garden of Life greens, or I'll also just, do some kale, spinach, or whatever. And just really just treat your body the way it should be treated for those, especially for those few days. And even though I'm sick, I was telling Gina, like this morning when I woke up, still not feeling 100% there, I felt the best I've had in weeks, just because, like last night for dinner, we didn't do anything crazy. We just did kind of like a salad with a piece of salmon on top, and just like really just clean eating, especially when you're sick, helps your body kind of heal faster. Your body's got to go through it. There's not going to be any type of thing that you take where it's, switch on, switch off. But you got to let your body heal faster. And so, and that's a big topic, because nobody likes to be sick, right? Nobody wants to get sick. Mm-mm. But when Noah comes home and she's got this runny nose and this cough and her eyes are swelling up, the first thing you think is like, oh God, my daughter's sick. And the next thing goes to your mind is, I'm about to get this. And so it's preparing your body before that. And so we kind of have a little signal with our daughter of when we're probably gonna get sick. So you kind of start preparing your body. But then just clean eating while you're sick, helps your body heal faster. So that's one thing that I like to do. Another thing that I like to do when I'm navigating the alternative health, especially when you're sick, because it's so easy to fall off the wagon. Like, I just want to go out to eat because I don't want to cook.
Of course.
But if you can just do those smoothies and do those, Just really kind of clean meals.
And you have a bunch of recipes on the website, thealternativedaily.com.
Yes.
We do
My
have a lot
favorite,
of those.
it's the simplest one is just a handful of kale, a handful of spinach. If you have a lemon, peel the lemon, drop it in there. Half a thumb's length of ginger. And I like to put in 2 bananas. And the bananas, we actually have banana plants in our yard. So
Cool.
they just ripened. And I had literally, I'm not kidding, there's like 150 bananas.
Really?
Yeah. And
That's so cool.
It is cool. But you can only give away so many bananas until people are like, I don't need any more. People come by and like, what's bananas? I'll take like 3. And I'm like, can you take like 15? They're like, no. So Dr. Josh gave me this good idea. Dr. Joshua Levitt, naturopathic doctor with us. He's like, peel the bananas and freeze them.
Yeah,
He's
that's
like,
what we do at home.
So I peeled the bananas, and so now I have like these 3 massive bags full of bananas in there. So I actually have some homegrown organic bananas.
Cool. Look how green you are.
I'm so green. And so bananas, apple is the other one I use, kale, spinach, and ginger. And then I'll just use some just purified filtered water and blend it up. And then I can throw in like your black cumin seed oil or whatever you want in there. And so that's what I'll do.
You know what's funny? I always find, maybe this is just me, and I make a lot of smoothies. I drink a lot of smoothies. I love salad and all that. I try to. I mean, I love salad, I guess, in the sense that I know I'm eating right and eating clean. But I always find that when I am out at a restaurant, even if I order the healthiest salad on the menu, or if I don't have time to go home after the gym and I'm running out for the day, I'll buy a shake at the gym. It always tastes better to me when I pay more for it, or when I pay somebody to do it. Where I work out at the gym, the smoothie that they'll make me, which is really good. It's all organic. I use almond milk in it, and they use organic fruit and whatnot. I always find that I'll make it and I'm like, wow, this smoothie is so good. And then I'll get all the ingredients myself. I'll go home and make it a few days later. I'm like, well, this just isn't fun.
Well,
I don't like this.
Also think that, they have practice doing it, so they do it like every single day. And here you are thinking you can just do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't get that way. But I've found that especially with that green drink, it's kind of similar to what's called the Kale-licious at Whole Foods or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just. It works. And you know what? As I also like to tell people, like when I give people, like my sister who lives in Virginia, she wanted to start doing some green smoothies and stuff like that, and I gave it to her, and she's like, oh my God. And I was like, listen, it's not going to taste like a chocolate shake. It's not going to taste like, a piece of pizza. You know what? People don't get into this because the food tastes absolutely awesome. You'll get that understanding of it later, but it's not going to taste like an ice cream cake. It's just not what it is. You have to kind of adapt to it.
If you have any recipes, people out there listening, for a smoothie that's healthy that tastes like pizza, please write us and let us know how we get that.
So another thing that I also do, we in terms of snacks, is last week. I just discovered this. You told me about this.
I told you about this.
And this is crazy. I've been talking to people and they're like, yeah, you didn't know about this. And especially given that, we have this website. But I made homemade popcorn.
It's fun, isn't it?
In like a pot for the first time ever.
I think it's really fun to do it, actually.
And it was awesome. Like I was like so excited. So Noah's like, I put her on a little stool so she could watch. And and I'll give the recipe right now, which is right there in the back. So I actually got a bag of it's non-GMO organic corn. And
it doesn't come in the microwave bags.
It does not. It almost comes like a rice pouch or whatever. And it does smell earthy. I was like, this smells earthy. Let me see what this is going to be all about. And so what you do is you take 2 tablespoons of coconut oil. Don't use vegetable oil. If you can use avocado oil. Something that has a high smoke point. So we use coconut oil. And as we learned last week, Gina doesn't like anything tropical or fun. So
she doesn't like
fun. She was concerned about coconut, but it won't actually have that coconut taste to it. And so what you do is take 2 tablespoons of coconut, get like a big saucepan.
Something with a lid,
and drop in 4 kernels and turn it on medium-high. And as soon as all 4 pop, take it off, drop in about 2/3 of a cup of kernels.
And it does make a lot of popcorn.
It does, because I dropped it in. I was like, maybe I should, go a little harder.
And then it was like so much popcorn.
Yeah,
right?
I'm glad I did not, because I will tweak every single recipe. I didn't tweak that one because I wanted to be sure. And so dropped it in there, shook it up, and then literally within 4 minutes, it started popping everywhere.
It's fun.
It was so good. Noah loved it. We ate it. And the funny thing was, it was like, and you're not getting all that, terrible stuff that you're getting in microwave popcorn, right? And so I don't know. I was trying to explain to somebody, like when you eat microwave popcorn, you kind of get that, like, there's this, like, I get it. It's like this little kind of like taste at the roof of my mouth. It's kind of like
It's
a waxy
like a
flavor.
coating,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
a coating. It's disgusting.
It's the
microwave
Teflon.
microwave popcorn's terrible.
Yeah,
for you.
it really is, guys. Microwave popcorn, what you're trading for convenience by being able to just throw a bag in a microwave, you're really, really, really ingesting so many chemicals. Because if you think about it, the chemical coating inside the microwave bags, I mean, we're not just saying this, it is actually Teflon. It is a chemical coating. So imagine that chemical then getting heated up super, super high in a microwave. So then you're ingesting that. It just makes it even more potent. Of course, we know even if you get the healthiest of microwave popcorn, it's going to have fake butter or something on it, pesticides, because remember, crops like this, non-conventional popcorn, crops like that are not regulated. So they're always covered in pesticides and fungicides and whatnot. So really, it's not that much more work to get something that you will notice. Did you notice that the taste of the popcorn itself, the texture is different too?
It's awesome. And it's smaller, right? Because it's not these massively, grown popcorn kernels. But I actually just preferred it. I will never eat popcorn the other way again.
It's really good. What did you season it with anything?
I just put a little bit of the sea salt that we have. That was actually
cinnamon is good on it too. We've done cinnamon. I've done when I cook it in coconut oil. Sometimes if I want to make it sweet, like a homemade version of kettle corn.
Yeah.
I'll add maybe a little bit more coconut oil after the fact with a little bit of cinnamon.
I mean, I wanted to do butter, but I just
you could use like grass-fed butter.
Oh no, we
use
have
a little
that.
bit.
But the big thing was Gina wanted to watch a movie that night, and
Okay.
it was she wanted to try out 50 Shades of Grey.
So I wanted to rent this on demand with my boyfriend the other day, and he would not. I can't believe you conceded to it. You're such a good man.
No.
He wouldn't.
Don't picture. This is the kind of goes back to this social media thing. Don't picture like this perfect family sitting there watching, because my daughter was asleep, and so Gina was like on the couch. She's like, and I was like, "What are you doing?" And because I was actually on the computer, and she was say, I just want to rent a movie, whatever. And I was like, "What are you gonna rent?" She's like, 50 Shades of Grey, and I was like, "Oh God." So I was like, I was on the computer. I was like, maybe I'll just kind of pop up and watch it. So it starts or whatever. Like for 30 seconds, I don't know which part it was because I didn't see the absolute beginning. It was like the worst. I don't watch movies.
The
it was
acting
like the
is
worst
terrible,
acting.
right?
It was like they talk like this, and it was just kind of like, oh, you're doing that. It was like
But
very.
I'm so innocent.
Oh my God, it was terrible. And I even remember, this is gonna sound terrible, but I remember telling Gina, I was like, 50 Shades of Grey, you hear about this thing, it's like all about this sex and all about this like awesome, and girls loved it, blah blah. And I was like, and they picked these two people who just kind of look like two
Duds.
normal duds, like two normal people you'd see on the. I was like, Gina, Lucy and Brody, who are my wonderful dogs, like, I think they're more attractive than these people. It's just kind of like they bring nothing. They're like a white piece of paper to this. I was like, I'm expecting a little more from all of this, stuff. that they're getting.
Hoopla.
But it was So anyways, I watched it for 30 seconds and I completely shut it off. And I don't watch any movies, but I knew that she was gonna be watching a movie, so I downloaded on my computer Horrible Bosses 2.
Is it funny?
And laughed the entire time.
It's another stupid movie, but it's probably really,
but
really
it was
funny.
So that was how we got into the popcorn, which was very, very good. I really, really enjoyed it.
So you remember the popcorn, but not the movie.
Oh, the popcorn was awesome. Nothing about the movie. I would have. We watched Lion King a lot with a 3-year-old. I would have rather watched Lion King.
I love what's in your rental queue: Lion King and 50 Shades of Grey. That's parenting.
Oh my goodness. And then the last thing that I actually wanted to talk about when kind of navigating this whole alternative health thing was coffee. Coffee often gets a bad rap for not being good.
Not your coffee. I'm flying high right now.
There
I'm feeling
you go.
good.
I'm really big on my coffee. So coffee is obviously very high in antioxidants. It's one of the best kind of like antioxidant rich drinks that you can put into your body. It actually has more antioxidants, especially resveratrol, than red wine. I've actually learned recently. It's actually a very, very good cup of coffee that you can put in your body. Obviously, it helps with some different things, but definitely boosts your metabolism, obviously, as you know, because you're kind of getting a little wired. Now, there are some crashes that come along with it, but you just got to be careful with it. So, and coffee is one of those things it's a balance, right? So you shouldn't be drinking 8 cups of coffee, right?
Oh my God, no.
But, it's kind of, because we get this kind of, we always talk about this balance thing. So how I make my coffee, and I actually wrote an article about this. I used to use the Keurig, right? And we got rid of that.
I used to use it too until I read that article, and then I felt like a real jerk, so I got rid of it and went back to my
it's
traditional
fine.
one
I
too.
get the convenience of it. But we
Yeah, but they are really bad for the environment. The K-Cups are really bad. They're not recyclable.
They're not.
Which is insane to me. I cannot wrap my brain around the fact that they're not recyclable.
So what I actually got was I got an espresso machine. And so what I actually make now are what's called Americanos. And it's just basically a single serve shot of espresso and hot water in there. And so what I'll do is I'll make it, and then going back to your recycling thing, I'll upcycle them. And so Megan was really curious. So right before the podcast, I walked outside. She was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "We'll talk about it in the podcast. I'm gonna tell you what it was."
He's so secretive. Every time I come up here, I'm like, "Hi, how are you doing?" And he's like, "Well, we'll talk about it on the podcast."
That's right, because I don't want to.
He doesn't want to speak to me until we start the
So
podcast.
I went out to the banana plants and actually took the coffee grounds and sprinkled them out there, and they actually operate as a very good natural fertilizer.
Cool.
So I will tell you, my dad has the Keurig still, but in his defense, he cuts open the top foil of every single one, scoops out the grounds, and puts it in a little jar, and will sprinkle it around his garden.
Nice,
and stuff like that.
that's
So
great.
Yeah.
He's a good man.
But the coffee is really good. So I do a single shot espresso, hot water, and then I will actually sweeten it with either honey or coconut crystals. And that's you don't like any type of sweetness.
Yeah,
You're
I
not
don't
a
really
sweet
like
person
it
at all.
No,
so.
I'm not. I'm really, really, really sour.
I
I actually like my coffee, honestly, black, which is funny. You remember being young and trying coffee for the first time and thinking it was so disgusting, and now it's something that you wake up and look forward to?
Well, the thing was,
it's like wine when you're a kid too.
I
or beer.
remember getting my first job, and I remember everybody would be like, "Oh my god, I get my coffee in the morning." I'm like, "You guys are just so dumb." I was like, "Why do you have to start your day with a coffee?" As I'm sitting there drinking a Red Bull, and I'm like, "What do you guys have to do this for?" And I was like, "It's so weird." And like now, I just enjoy like the whole experience of it. I enjoy the flavor of it. My wife again can't stand it, but it's something I so I do. So I have like maybe 2 cups maybe in the morning, and then maybe a cup in the afternoon. So.
But you have a whole process with doing it. Making espresso is not necessarily just a quick thing.
No, it's
and you've been learning, and you've been getting really good at it. You've come a long way from that first time.
Do you have any
No,
left?
I drank it all. I love it.
There's a whole kind of like tamping and grind size and pressure size and everything, but it makes the perfect cup of coffee. I completely enjoy it, and when friends come over to visit, obviously if it's I don't want to we'll go back to him again, but my friend Dishner, who came into town, obviously going through college you drink tons of beers together, right? And so we were sitting there like one afternoon, I was like, "Do you want to have a cup of coffee?" He's like, "What?" And he's like, "Absolutely." I'm like, "Yeah." I was like, "We don't have to drink a beer right now. We can literally just have a perfect cup of coffee."
But we can still chug it if you want.
And so I made him. He was like, "Oh my god!" And
It's really good.
It's so funny. And then like afterwards, like we got done it like 15, 20 minutes later, and I was like, "How was he?" He was like, "Good." He was like, "Can I have another one?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "But will my heart beat out of my chest?" I was like, No. You're completely fine. I don't amp these things up. I was like, just keep it balanced. But coffee definitely has its benefits. It improves your liver health. It can also help regulate blood sugar. High in antioxidants. So it's definitely something that you shouldn't steer clear of. So I'm not saying if you're not drinking it, you should be drinking it. But if you're currently drinking it, just be careful what you're putting into it. You don't want to be putting tons of regular sugar.
No,
and
non-dairy creamers are so bad
it's
too.
terrible. And the thing I was thinking about, I think about this actually a lot, is when I put the honey in there or the coconut sugar, all very low glycemic. And for the longest time, especially honey was always kind of the bad sugar. You don't want to put it in there, especially for diabetics. But now, like when I make it, I literally, I'm not even being cheesy here. I think about like my grandmother when I put it in there. That might sound weird, but because I remember when she was alive, we were always like, what could Grandma eat? Because she could, could she eat these brownies? What could she eat? But they always pushed her to like to Splenda and sucralose and all that type of stuff. That's what the doctors did, and that was like back then that's what they did. And now I always think I was like, Grandma could have she could have liked the coconut secret crystals, or she could have liked the the honey and enjoyed it and stuff like that. So.
That's nice.
And so that's just kind of, it's just, as I said, when I do my cup of coffee, it's a whole experience of the thing. So rather than just popping in a K-cup and going. So that's my take on coffee.
That's a good take on coffee. And the coffee is very good. I'm sorry that
you
you guys out there aren't able to enjoy what I'm enjoying right now. But the coffee does have a lot of benefits. So like everything with the coffee, with the popcorn we're talking about, there's that balance of what you should be doing versus what you want to be doing. And that was our idea for this podcast today, was to let you guys know, there are certain things out there that, we all need to focus on, and we all need to make sure we're doing more of, trying to eat cleaner, trying to stay away from chemicals and preservatives in our food, maybe doing a little bit of walking and exercising. But you don't have to go out and throw away everything in your refrigerator and start over and join a gym tomorrow and say you're going to start
just do
boxing.
One thing.
Yeah, just do one thing at a time. And you'll notice that it will become a habit, and it'll become so second nature to you that you'll want to build on from that, and you'll want to be encouraged to do more. So maybe one of the things that you, like when we were going back back to in the beginning, the societal pressures with Facebook. I've really made a concerted effort to not be on my phone anymore before I go to sleep.
Oh, that's terrible.
I used to always be on my phone, and like it would help me fall asleep. I'd scroll through Instagram.
It's terrible for your brain.
And yeah, it's really bad. So that was something that, as silly as it sounds, even, I'm trying to be healthy and whatnot, I was doing, and it was really affecting the way I fell asleep, how I slept, how I woke up. Most people use their phones as an alarm, as I do. So I was waking up in the morning, turning my alarm off and immediately checking my email. And it's like, if you're not even out of the covers yet, you don't need to start your day like that. So for me even, and Jake, we're still finding ways that we can sort of build on it and add on things that we know we should be doing and we want to do more of. So that was the theme for our podcast.
And the other thing, we go back to the coffee, and just kind of as we're doing this wrap up, I love coffee. Just keep going back to it. If you can, go organic, and especially bird friendly.
Bird friendly?
Yeah, because
I didn't know that.
I'm a frequent visitor to the Palm Beach Zoo.
I know you are.
And they as I'm a big coffee kind of a guy now type of thing, they were actually talking about, during the one bird show that we go to every day at 11 o'clock. We don't go to the zoo every day, but it happens at every day at 11 o'clock. They're talking about getting bird-friendly coffee. It's, it's shade-grown, and actually they do their best not to chop down as many trees and stuff like that, so it's not killing all the birds and everything that's down there. Because obviously regular coffee plantation farms are just plowing things through.
Yeah.
When they do bird-friendly ones, they're really cognizant of trying to not leave their footprint for the birds. So
I didn't even know that. You learn something new every day.
So actually, what we're actually having? It's actually called. It's from Whole Foods. It's the Allegro brand. It's called Early Bird Coffee, and it's organic, bird-friendly coffee.
Cool. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, now you know.
Go.
Try and find some bird-friendly coffee. So, again, you can find this podcast on thealternativedaily.com. We are on iTunes if you search The Alternative Daily. You can also go to soundcloud.com, and you can even download the SoundCloud app to your smartphone and search The Alternative Daily there. We'd love if you guys give these a listen, and please, if you feel so inclined, give us a review. We want to know what you guys think. We always want to get better at these, so we're always open to your comments, your critiques, anything that you guys have to say. We want to hear that.
Please comment below as well if there's anything that you want to hear or you have questions, and we'll cover it next time.
All right. Well, thanks, guys, for listening, and thank you, Jake.
Thank you, Megan.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.